Hey guys, it's Kevin with Fabricate Better. Today I want to do a review video of the Century FC90 that we got a year ago and show you how well it's held up in a professional environment so far. When we first got the FC90, I wasn't really sold on the idea of a 120 volt buzz box flux core machine in a professional environment. I'm like, how long could it really hold up? You know, I never really gave them much credit. I always thought they were kind of junky, but you know what? I was definitely wrong with this machine. This whole thing is a powerhouse. One of the first things I noticed about this machine was its portability and its size. This thing only weighs like 20 pounds with the spool wire in it. It's really nice because you're able to just throw it over your shoulder, take it over here, take it over there, move around with it, go up and down stairs with it, and not have this whole gaggle of wires that you're trying to pull behind you, and you got all this welding cable you got to deal with. This thing is powerful enough to burn into like handrails and 1/8 inch. It'll even weld up to 1/4 inch material. We bought this as a dedicated handrail welder because we bought it for a job where we had 3,000 linear feet of railing that we had to modify and move a mid rail down like 1.5 inches. So we had to cut them all off and weld them back on. So portability was really, really important for us. One of the things I really do like about this, and it's a double-edged sword, is the length of the gun. If you're working on a long railing and you're trying to go from this end to that end and you got it sitting over here on a cart, it's a little bit short for that. But we really like the long gun on it because when you're moving around, you don't want like this 10, 15 foot cord that you have to wrap up every time you move your actual machine. So with this being small, you just grab it, you pick it up, it's hanging off the ground, and you just walk to the next spot. All you have to worry about is your 120 volt cord behind you, and you're good. So this has become our new go-to railing machine for small railing repair here and there. You throw it in the back of your truck, throw it in the front seat of your car. You can hook it into any 110 volt outlet that's out there. We've even run it off of generators. We have for that job, we had a 5,000 watt generator that we ran it off of, and it ran off beautifully. No voltage drop, no problems at all with it. We did run a 120 volt cord that was like a little bit too small to begin with, so we had a problem with popping the breakers. But once we bumped it up to a 12 gauge cord, we ran a 100-foot extension cord, 12 gauge, and it worked out just fine. So this thing has become our new go-to railing machine, and we absolutely love it for that. Now on that job, we ran this thing for about 2 months straight, 5, 6 days a week, 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day. And it actually performed so well, we went out and we bought a second one. We've exceeded the duty cycle on both of them like many, many, many times over. Don't tell Century that, but we did. The only issue we had was we would get the gun so hot that the liner actually melted the contacts inside, which we would just tape up with electrical tape and keep on going. So it was no fault of the machine at all. It was totally us exceeding the duty cycle. So we actually added a third one to the group after that because we liked it so much. Another thing I really like about this is that you can get all the consumables at Lowe's and Home Depot. You don't have to go to the welding supply store. They got stupid hours that you can never get there, and they're closed on Saturdays, and the prices are jacked up, or you can only buy it online. You know, you get your tips, you gotta wait a week. Like, none of that. You walk into Home Depot, you grab the wire, you grab the tips, you grab the cup shield, and you're off to the races. You know, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever you want. We've experimented with a bunch of different wires with them, and the Lincoln stuff works the best. The NR211, we found a lot of other inconsistencies, you know, porosity problems, feeding issues with other wires. We've got, you know, like hundreds of pounds of wire through these machines, and they worked out really, really like the best with NR211. And it's easy to get, so that's a big benefit too. As far as usability goes, this thing's a really nice machine for a 120 volt flux core. Granted, you're not going to be laying down stacks of dimes like your Tegel on aluminum, but that's not what you bought it for. It's really nice and simple. You got your on-off switch in the back. You got your voltage and your wire speed up front. The dials are really nice so that because a lot of machines have a high and a low switch for the power, and that's all you're limited to. So you're either burning through something what you're doing, or it's too cold. With this, you can dial it in exactly how you need for whatever situation you're in. If you're a novice, all the recommended settings are here in the top of the lid. You can just put it to the book settings and run with it. But as soon as you get a little bit more acquainted with it and you have some gaps to fill or something like that, you're able to turn down the voltage so that you can fill the gap a little bit instead of just packing to fill a gap. You can actually run that gap, and it's really, really nice to be able to have that. So all in all, the usability of it for a 120 volt machine, it's really, really nice. Now, for the sake of an honest review, there are a couple things I would like to change on. I really do like the metal casing and the plastic front. I think there should be a little bit more plastic around it, just because we found ourselves reaching a couple times and pulling on this, and all of a sudden it gets to the edge and it falls off the edge and then bam, hits the ground. Now, the metal case does protect that, and it is really nice, but it just hits a little bit hard, and it's super simple inside, and it's going to take it. It's just a matter of, like, if it was a little bit less jarring, you wouldn't feel it as bad, and you're like, oh man, I just dropped the welder. So that's something I would like to see change, because it would be a little bit nicer, because we do kind of abuse these machines. Another thing is the spool hold down. The spool hold down consists of 3 separate pieces. You got your clip here, your spring here, and then your retaining nut here. It is a little bit cumbersome, and there's 3 pieces to lose rather than 1. So if that could be simplified up into like 1 big nut or something like that, just to make it so that you don't have to worry about 3 pieces and you're up on a ladder or you're on a mezzanine and you drop the spring, you gotta run all the way down there to get it. So that's one of the things. It's a downside. It holds it well, it works really good. I just would like to see it, simplified a little bit. So with that being said, I'm still really happy with the machine. Between the 3 of them, we've run about 180, 190 pounds of the NR211, and for like a $200 machine, that's really, really good. So it's got my vote. Actually, it's got like 3 of my votes, because I have 3 of them so far. I like it. I really do. It's a great machine. You can run off a generator, plug it into an extension cord, take it with you wherever you want. So if you're looking for a powerful little flux core welder, the FC90 is where it's at. So I appreciate you guys watching. Check us out on youtube.com/Fabricate Better. Hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments, hit the like buttons. We appreciate that, and we'll see you next time.